Right on. It's like engaging people
Absolutely.
and stay engaged. That's one of the most important things that
Yeah.
I think I got from you is, you can plant a seed, but if you don't take care of it, it won't grow. And you have to stay on top of those relationships with people. And for someone who I argue with my girlfriend constantly about this, sorry, um, I feel like I'm kind of introverted. I have a hard time networking, but really I'm pretty extroverted. But at the same time, for someone like me, I have a hard time maybe being able to identify my self-worth and then trying to sell that to somebody. And so anytime I have an opportunity to network, I always sort of just get lost and feel like I don't know what to say. I don't know how to tell these people what I do and why I'm good at it. I mean, for people like that who just aren't naturally good networkers, I mean, what can they do to sort of step up their game?
Well, I think, again, the secret is to focus on the other person. If you find it hard to talk about yourself, again, there is that fine line between pompousness and I'm all that, which usually is rooted in a low self-esteem. And then the absolute refusal to talk about yourself at all and maybe play the martyr a little bit. I think that if you can go into a room and let's say you walk into a room and you see Stephen B and he's jamming and doing his thing and you show genuine interest in what he's doing and the pressure's off of you to talk about yourself at that point. And so you start to develop this friendship. And so then, you go out and you grab a beer or you get some coffee and he says, so, casual conversation. I think it's really more about that than the 30-second commercial and sound bites. And yeah, if you're at a networking event where there's a breakfast and if you've got 30 seconds to do your commercial, yes, in that case, it's important to kind of be prepared and be professional. But again, it should come through conversation, and that comes from the fact that there are seeds. You basically watered the seed of his relationship, and then his flower blooms and shines back on you.
You just made me feel really good right there because when I meet people, I would prefer to basically push all the business to the wayside for like the first hour you're getting to know somebody, because you don't really want to do business with someone you don't know.
Absolutely.
And Turk and I went out and got a beer before we started talking about business once, and we've been getting to know each other and like little things like that. And I think it's so much more important to know the person and who they are rather than know the business skills and things that they offer up.
Yeah, I think it's very important to know time and place, because if you're at like a music industry panel or something like that, you don't have time to, short talk. You hand your business card. But if you're fortunate enough to be in a place where, they're just standing there, walk up to them and tell them, hey, I like, what you're doing. And you just got to know the time and place. But I think it's very helpful when you can play a friend rather than a business person. Just be like, hey, think what you're doing is dope. I like the shit you're putting out, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, absolutely. You mentioned business cards and getting a business card out. That's something that's really often misunderstood, especially in a gathering. And I think it happens not just in the corporate world, but there might be a music event. It could have been the State of the Industry Music Forum, where you find people that walk up to you and they're like, oh, you're from the Indie Times, or you're from, NorCal Indie here. And it's this piece of paper that inherently has no value until there's a handshake, a warmth. I mean, when I get a business card from someone, I can look at the business card and be like transported back to when I met them, and I know if that feeling is warm or if it's cold. My line of thought on the business card is, because I actually had somebody comment on a post once talking about, if you don't have a business card, don't walk into the room. It's not professional, and you're taking. I mean, this was actually literally in print. You're stealing the air that the rest of us are breathing trying to do business. And I thought, wow,
Man, that hurts.
it's really harsh. And I don't think it's appropriate, because I think that, let's say I forget my business card. I don't have anything to hand you, but I get your business card, or I get your name. I remember who you're from. The onus is on me then to pick up the phone, to send an email, to develop a relationship. And if it's supposed to happen, it's supposed to happen. But generally, when you get this flip of the card, it's not going to happen anyways, because it's like this energy block, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So business cards are great, but the true business card is your complete brand,
Yourself.
how you present yourself. Yeah, and how you act when you're drinking a beer with someone in the bar. You know, if you guys can laugh and relax and have a good time, you can even get crazy and talk about
we
things
did.
that are not
We stole a
PC
couple
or anything.
cars.
Right? Well, but then you absolutely know what you're dealing
Yeah,
with
no,
when you
I
get
mean, we
into
now know who each other is.
Now, so when a microphone disappears today, because I really like this one,
Yeah.
you're gonna be cool with it,
It's
right?
a kick drum mic, by the way. Don't be.
It's just it's just something we do, you know.
It's like an egg.
It's like an
Another thing too is real quick, like if you have to rely on the business card, then maybe it wasn't a good meeting. But if they can remember just from, oh, I talked to a really cool person that does this or that, you know, that's kind of what you want to focus on. Your approach, what you say, and the amount of time you have, I think is more important than any business card.
Well, and they're gonna mostly what they're gonna remember is how you made them feel. And if
Yeah.
if you talked about yourself the whole time, which
They're gonna be like,
believe me, for me that's hard. I can talk about myself all day long. It's true. It's like a birth defect, but but it's really going to be how you make them feel. And so when you can pay a sincere compliment, be genuinely interested in what they have, and you know we're all going to come into those situations where there's just kind of like this lack of charisma. There's just not the energy, and you don't know quite how to break the ice. You know, that's not a fun place to be. And it happens to me. And I happen to love networking and meeting people. But I think, being gracious with ourselves and remembering that we're not perfect and then putting that on them, like, you know, this is a human being. This person has worth, and I just don't know them well enough to be able to get into a deeper conversation. Or, you know, this person is really meant to work with someone else. That's okay.